Kristin. So it's time for another total rehaul. I decided it was time for another total rehaul. What a total rehaul is, in case you're new to my channel, is kind of a products update where I go back and take a look at a haul that I did a few months back and pull out those products. Have I used them? Did I like them? That sort of thing. So this one was from January. It was shortly after. It was a haul that happened shortly after the haul that I did when I was shopping with Emily. And this one was one where I was shopping with my friend Sarah. And I have some drugstore and some non-drugstore here, so there's a pretty good mix. I'm coming at you from this angle because I have everything laid out in front of me, or to the side here, so that's what's happening. Very quickly, before I get into it, I just want to say thank you guys so much for your kind comments and sweet messages on my YouTuber tag video, the secret of a, whatever that tag was. I don't even know what to say. I was so overwhelmed. I didn't expect that response. I just, truly, I'm so thankful for you guys and very, very overwhelmed at all the kind things that you had to say to me. I just wanted to say thank you. I really, really appreciate you guys. So the first thing I want to talk about is, and I put this on my eyes today, I am embarrassed to say that I hauled this, the Wet n Wild color icon in The Naked Truth. I heard so many bad things about this that I never pulled it out. So when I saw that I had hauled it way back then and still had never used it, I was like, all right, Kristin, time to do it. So I will say this. I just put it on myself today for the first time. The taupe is not necessarily the most pigmented taupe I've ever used in my life. This deep matte brown, however, is very, very nice, as is this brow color. So I have this all over my lid, this in the outer corner, brow bone, underneath my lash line. I didn't use this color that's listed as brow bone, but it does seem to be a very nice, like it would be a good lid color if you wanted some shimmer. Hopefully you can see what that is. But yeah, so I've not used this until today. I can't speak to it aside from the things that I just said about it, so I am a slacker. So the next things I talked about, and some of these were early in the haul and some were later, I'm going to put them all together, was I picked up 3 of the Rimmel, these are called paint, Scandaleyes eyeshadow paint, and then I also later when we were at Ulta picked up the Almay version of this. So here's the thing, I never did come back to, I intended to do a video on this, and I will show you, hopefully I can show you, I'll start with the Almay ones. There's a base by CoverGirl that I really liked. It was a Shadow Blast and 815 Brown Bling. They don't make it anymore. So I was kind of looking for something else that would be like that. So these are the Almay ones. They look like they would be fine, but then this is what happens. When you blend them into your skin, you get a little bit of a color and a lot of the glitter and not much else. It just didn't have the payoff I was hoping it would have. So I did not like those, and they also claimed to be a base as well as, it says intense eye color. Intense it is not. And liquid shadow and color primer. It creased on me when I used it by itself. There wasn't a lot of payoff, so I did not love those. Same, I didn't love these either for different reasons. I don't know how to explain these things. So, and I've only heard a few people talk about these, and there's a reason. So that is the color, and it seems like it's going to stay forever. If you blend it very quickly, you'll get you'll get more longevity. You don't get the payoff, but you can blend it quickly. If you leave it on there like it comes out originally, so this is the one in Russet. It was the taupe one, and I don't know if I'll be able to show you that, but if you try to get the most color payoff like that and not blend it, it will almost flake off of your eye. It is the strangest thing. I can't really explain it. Curious if anybody else has had that issue, but again, if you blend it out, you know, you still keep some of the metallic, you just lose a little bit, but they are very long wearing, so I will say that. I guess I was kind of, there's pluses and minuses to both of these, but they're not something I would repurchase again. If I could go back, I would not have purchased them. And I felt badly because I was so excited to find some of them. I sent some to a friend, and I bought some for Sarah. What are you going to do? Okay, so then we went to the MAC counter. I had to back some stuff, and anyway, it doesn't matter. So I had purchased another one of these. I haven't even broken into it yet, but this is the MAC Pro Eye Makeup Remover. I love this stuff. I just didn't want to be without it, and since we were there, I went ahead and got it. And I will show you again the reason that I like this particular one of the reasons, is that it has this little hole here, hole here, and your Q-tip fits like right on top of that, and you can easily clean up. So this is not something I remove my eye makeup with, and it's the Pro Eye Makeup Remover. It's not something I remove my eye makeup with at night. It's something that I keep here on my vanity for touch-up and cleanup and that sort of thing. Okay, the other things that I purchased at MAC, well, I had 3 lipsticks that I got. I think they might have all been back-to-back, or I maybe bought one, I'm not sure. So the first one is what I have on my lips today. And this one I have worn, and I like this. I like the color. It's a nude that I feel like I can deal with. I don't really like super nude nudes on me. This is the Sheen Supreme in Supreme Style. Good gracious, Kristin. My only complaint with this, and you can tell because it looks a little jacked up there, it's very soft. So even applying it to the lips, like here in my makeup room, like not like out in the heat, but you have to be very, very careful with it. It's very soft, but it is very moisturizing. It lasts a decent amount of time for something that is like a Sheen, you know, like you wouldn't expect to last. It lasts a decent amount of time. I'm not talking 4 hours or anything, but it lasts a good amount of time. And I like, you know, some lipsticks, you just like the feel of putting them on. I like putting it on. So that's that. Then this too, I had to laugh so hard. I was so iffy about this lipstick, and I wore this lipstick a bunch. After I got used to it, and that was in Up the Amp, and I mean, a bunch of people have talked about this. Like I said, I've worn it a bunch. I haven't worn it lately, but I was really just starting to venture out into, look, matches my nails. I was really just starting to venture out into color on my lips, anywhere, quite frankly. It's going to be interesting to see kind of my rehauls over the next few months. But anyway, the other one that I purchased was Amorous, and I do really like this. It's just, for me, it's a fall color. That's right there. Amorous, by the way, is a satin. Up the Amp, in case you're curious, is, I think it's amplified. Yes, an amplified. So, happy with all 3 of those. I'm throwing things around. Happy with all 3 of those. Okay, this I was talked into, and I honestly don't think I have worn it yet. Fail, Kristin, fail. And this is the Rebel Lip Glass. And maybe I will, now that it's coming into fall again. I don't know, but so it's right there. So I can't speak to that. Bad, Kristin. The last thing that I have from the MAC counter from that trip is something I have had in my favorites. I have worn consistently since I purchased it, and that is the ProLumiere Concealer. I know that people, it's kind of hit and miss on this, and I would like to say something. I don't know if I have like the only pump that functions, but I am able to get out just a little bit if I'm just really careful about how I pump it out. So I don't know if I don't know. I just don't go, I just go like really gently on, I don't know. I don't seem to have an issue with it. Maybe I have the only pump that works. I don't know. But I like it. I will absolutely repurchase that. It was well worth, I love it. Absolutely love it. So we handed over to Chanel then at that point, and I picked up the blush in Emotion. I was looking for that. To my knowledge, it's limited edition, but last time I talked about this in my favorites, which I think was maybe my June favorites, I was still able to find it on Nordstrom. So if I can find it, I'll list it below, but this is just a gorgeous blush. It's just perfect. It was spring, I think, but I've worn it all summer long. I just love it. That's one swipe. You know, I find that Chanel's blushes, I like them, but I think they can be a little bit hit or miss. This one is a hit, and it knocked it out of the park. Awesome. And then the other thing I picked up was a lip liner. It's the only lip liner I have anymore from Chanel. I used to have one in Peach or Pesh. I don't think I have that one anymore. This is the one in Ruba something. Ruba Light. And this is great. It works well with it. In that video I had to laugh because I thought I had mentioned something about it working well with Morning Rose from MAC, which was a limited edition lipstick. It works with, you know, any kind of like your mid-tone pink. Love. Absolutely love that. It's great. No complaints. All right, so next I have some things from Ulta, so some more drugstore things. Essence at that time had been buy one, get one 50% off, so I have 4 things. I had finished off my collection. There were 3 of them, of the Essence Stay Matte Lip Creams. I'm afraid that these have been discontinued because I could not locate them online the last time I talked about one of these. And this is the one in Silky Red. Of the 3 I have, which is I think Velvet Rose, I'll list the other 2 that I have down below, but this is my least favorite, but only because it's just not a color that I like to wear a lot. It's a red, but it has a little bit of orange to it, kind of almost a deep coral. And I think that people that like those colors would love this. I love this formula. It's a great formula. It's just that the color isn't, but I don't know. I was on a mission to have them all. The other 3 things that I purchased from Essence because of the buy one, get one 50% off were blushes. And I know I have featured some of these, if not all of these, in favorites. And the one that I'm wearing today actually is in Adorable. No, that's a lie. The one that I'm wearing today is in Babydoll, and that looks like this. These are very nice blushes. They have a nice sheen to them without them being glittery, and they wear a decent amount of time. You're not getting 14 hours out of this blush, but these are really nice. And this is the one in Sweetheart. I absolutely recommend these. I think they're great. And then the last one that I have is Adorable. I feel like Adorable is the one that I mentioned. They're very soft. They're creamy. There you go. They don't all, the 3 of these don't necessarily all look, this one is different. These 2 are kind of similar, but I like these. I'm glad that I purchased them. I think they're great, especially everyday blushes. Just throw them on and call it a day. So these next products, I have to apologize because I feel like I promised a video and never did these. I'm trying to set them in my lap so they won't go rolling all over the place. So I had spent a lot of time while Sarah was shopping in the Calvin Klein or CK1 section. And I totally missed out in February, by the way, on getting a free mascara, and I've heard mixed reviews on that anyway. But so I had swatched all the eyeshadows, crap. Blushes, crap. I didn't like any of that. But I did end up really liking the lipsticks. Now, the one that I purchased at that point was in 500 Lip Lock, which is this one right here. And these are matte. And again, you could tell I was starting to branch out in color. This is a very nice, deep kind of wine color. And then down the line, I'm just going to put it in here since I'm talking about these. I purchased this one in 200 Miss Me? Question mark? Miss Me? That's a little bit more wearable color there, for me anyway. You can see how nice and saturated these are in color. And then I purchased a gloss in 400 Scandal. And check the wand out on this. It's very interesting. Not hard to use. I thought it would be, but not hard to use. And there's decent pigmentation. Kind of just have a tad of a vanilla scent to them. I just smell to remind myself. And so that is that's the gloss there, and then the shades. These are great. I don't have any issues with these. I know for sure I featured one of them in a favorites, but I just thought I would quickly talk about all of them. I like the gloss. The gloss is a little bit slippery, so if you have normal kind of to dry lips, I think you would be fine. Who has oily lips? People don't have oily lips, but you know what I mean. I just think that, anyway, it's a little bit slippery. If you don't like slippery glosses, you probably would not like this. But both of these lipsticks are very nice, and they're matte without being drying. I really like both of them. Alrighty then. Okay, we went to Sephora, and one of the things that I bought there I have since returned, and actually mentioned to you guys that I returned, and that was the NARS loose powder, the crystal business. I didn't like that at all. I didn't see any magic on my face, so I took that back. You guys know I'm trying to be better about taking things back. I did purchase 2 more of the Smashbox, and these are their cream shadows. I really like these. This is the one in Stone. Again, I've talked about these a bunch, and this one, even though it looks a little metallic-y, I feel like it comes off a little more matte, and it is definitely more stone. Like, I thought it would be a little bit more warm, and it's a little bit more cool, and has a tad of metallicness to it, but it is pretty matte. And then the other one I purchased, I don't think I've worn this. I've swatched it a bunch of times trying to decide if I would use it as a base. But this is the one in, it's really hard to see. This one is an iris, and it is really pretty. I just haven't actually worn this yet. I'm sure that I will. But I think it has to be kind of just the right look. I probably shouldn't have purchased it because it's pretty, at any rate. I love those. The one in Icon is my favorite. Topaz is right up there. I just really like them. And also that was when I purchased the chocolate bar palette. I don't know, I like this. I think it's a great palette. I did a 4 Looks 1 palette with it, which I'll list below. I've used it a few times since then. I'm just not in love with this, I don't think, as everybody else is. I don't dislike it. I just am not reaching for it all the time like a lot of people are. And then another palette that I did a 4 Looks 1 palette with that I had shown, this is the last thing in my haul, is the Sigma Warm Neutrals palette. I bought and paid for this myself. I really liked this palette. I talked about this in a favorites as well. This is a great palette that in that video I had mentioned that I had been hesitant about it because Sigma has had some makeup in the past that wasn't so good. This particular palette is the only thing I can speak to. That's all that I have from them, I think, makeup wise. And it's great. I really, really like it. So, all right, I think that I have told you everything that's on my face, so I have nothing left. Nothing left to let you know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye!